Welcome everyone to Y.E.S show number 11.
11, yes.
We're just moving right along with these. Thank you for joining us again, and we have our special guest today, our first female entrepreneur.
Yes.
And that's Claudia. Do you go by Diaz or Martinez?
Diaz.
Diaz. Claudia Diaz. And before we introduce her, I'm going to share a quote today, Jerry.
Okay.
All right, so this is from a book that I've been reading, The Motivation Manifesto. It's a short quote, but I feel that it's, especially with everything going on right now with the news and everybody bashing each other with politics and the election, that it really spoke to me, even though it's really short. But think about this. The quote says, "For motivation's sake, we must be vigilant. We must be vigilant and surround ourselves with genuine and positive people who seek positive aims with positive attitudes." Very important. If we surround ourselves with negative news and negative people all day long, it just drains the energy out of you.
Absolutely.
And no matter if you think that you're doing your passion in life or whatever job it may be, or even if the job is challenging, if you just that's something that you can control. You can control your environment. You can control who you hang out with. You really can't control that. And I suggest that, I mean, even for my sake, is get all the negative stuff out of your environment. As it is, it's already tough to make it and grind and move forward. But just having that negative aspect makes it tenfold tougher than if you didn't. And if you have that positive mental focus and positive people surrounding you and giving the best and just telling you, hey, move forward. It's bad out there, but look at all the great things that are going out there. It's just going to make that, it's not going to be any easier as far as what the task and goals are at hand, but it motivates you to push forward and to have that positive energy. Do you have any thoughts on that, Jerry?
No, absolutely. I agree. It's hard, and I think you touched on it one of the last episodes where you can get sucked into this media, especially with Facebook and the news and now, I mean, I believe that there's, as citizens, we all have a duty to be engaged in, I guess, somewhat of a political process and such. But at the same time, you need to focus on what's important. What's important is the task at hand in your life. And you can't allow these more macro issues to interfere with that. You need to go to work, you need to take care of business, you need to take care of your family. And you can't let any of that other stuff in the news interfere with that. And the other thing I would add with the news and the media is the reality is the fact that if it was all good news and it was all bright and shiny, we wouldn't watch it. Advertisers wouldn't pay to have advertising on the news. So everything that you're getting from the news is skewed on one far extreme side. And so, with that in mind, just keep that in context. Surround yourself, like Edward said. I surround myself with people like Edward, positive people that are going to help me achieve my goals and lift me up when I fail. And so you guys need to do the same, and that's absolutely imperative to your success.
Yes, sir. Great stuff, Jerry. Claudia,
Yes.
I know that you said you have something to share for us this morning. Do you want to go ahead and share that?
I have a quote, but it's my favorite verse in the Bible. And it kind of goes by what you're saying, but it's Proverbs 3:5-6. What it says is, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He shall direct your path." This is something very important to me because I'm a control freak. And I tend to want to take care of everything myself, and sometimes you just can't control everything, and you just really have to trust in Him. So it has really, really helped me throughout my years, for sure. And especially with everything that is going on now, we could get overwhelmed and stressed out about who's going to be our next president. As business owners, what's going to happen to us, how is it going to affect us, our families. But at the end of the day, He's in control.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you have faith in that bigger plan,
Absolutely.
Exactly.
the idea that that there may be some pain, there may be pain or discomfort coming in the short term, but if you have that faith that in the long term it's going to be beneficial, which people of faith, of all faiths have that. You know, it's
It just makes life easier.
it absolutely does. But
And-
you know, I think some people would look at that as a pacifier.
Yeah.
But it's the truth.
Yeah.
It's the truth. And you just look through history. Look at all the stuff that we've come through throughout history. And look at all the times that we could have been alive.
Yeah.
We live in the most prosperous time, the safest time. I mean, we're truly blessed.
Yeah,
So.
we are.
And
Definitely.
being a control freak, that's a great scripture
It is.
because a lot of times, especially with what's going on right now, there's a lot of stuff we can't control, and,
Yeah.
and just worrying about it is not
Definitely.
going to help or solve anything.
And yeah,
So-
worry is huge. So
Yeah.
it's
Huge.
so definitely I have lived by that verse because
Great.
I learned my lesson.
So you lean on that heavily as a control freak.
Definitely, yes.
Yeah.
I have
Have
to. He
to.
pulls my ears out and he's like, Claudia.
That's awesome.
That's right. So let's go ahead and get into the
Yeah,
interview.
so-
Jerry, start us off.
Yeah, so Claudia, can you tell us a little bit about kind of your upbringing? Were you born in Yuma, raised in Yuma?
No, I was actually born in Mexico.
Okay,
I was born in San Luis, just across the border.
okay,
I came to this country when I was 12 years old.
okay.
I started 7th grade here. My mom is a single parent. So she came to the country 2 years prior to bringing us, and we stayed behind with our grandmother until she got all the legal paperwork ready for us to be able to come. So then she brought us in, and she's a hardworking woman. I mean, that's all I see in my life, just work.
Mhm.
She worked 2 jobs. She works in the field, so it was always a hard work job that she did. And so I came here when I was in 7th grade. I started at Crane Junior High. Didn't speak a word of English.
Wow.
Yeah, and so just made it a point though. I mean, honestly, ever since I came to this country, I told my mom I'm never going back. I love it. I love the country. I love the culture, and I embraced it. This is my country now, and I made it a point to learn the language as soon as I could. Even a lot of my friends kind of stayed behind with the same group of people, Spanish only, and I made it a point to get out of that.
Sure.
And surrounded myself by people that spoke English because I wanted to learn. I was eager to learn the language, and so I did. I mean, my accent's still kind of heavy, but I get by. I've been here for 25 years now.
Wow.
I did get married at a very young age. Got married when I was 17 years old. My husband was in the military at the time, and I was young, but you know what? I wouldn't change it for a thing. I have my daughter and my son. She's 19 years old, and my son's 16 years old now. And we had to grow up quick. I had to mature. I mean, as a 17 years old, I was raising a little girl, and I was a wife, and I was working, finishing high school, but I didn't allow none of that to stop me. So then I pursued a career, went to AWC, and it's taken me a long time, but I'm almost done with my bachelor's in counseling.
Congratulations.
I have, the heart to help people, and my degree is more in substance abuse.
Oh, okay.
And so hopefully I'll finish that. Just because of the business, I keep putting it off, going back here and there, but I'm about 2 classes away from
You just
it.
keep chipping away at it.
Yeah, I do. Yeah,
You're
and
sticking to it now.
yeah. So
Yeah, that's amazing. So you kind of really, so much there, right? You're so immigrant. One of the things that we're all immigrants in this country, one way or the other. And my grandfather was first generation.
Okay.
And so they came from Sicily and
Okay.
worked hard. And,
Yeah.
and I believe that that's what makes this country so great.
Yeah.
Because I think immigrants have an interesting perspective because they come from, generally speaking, from countries that don't have as much opportunity and abundance. So could you kind of talk a little bit about that and,
Sure.
and what that mindset was as being someone that immigrated to the country and how you looked at the opportunities here?
Well, I mean, the opportunities were huge, and I love the country, honestly. I just thought, I could really do something with my life here. Mexico, it's a great country, but I mean, even now, I will never go back for anything. Like I said, I adopted this country, and I became a citizen years ago, but it was tough. It was really hard, especially seeing my mom, work. Till now, she hardly speaks the language, English, but I mean, it's just really, really, it could be an awesome country if you really apply yourself, I think. And like you mentioned, I mean, hardworking people. And I looked at it more as I was grateful to be here. I don't never
Gratitude.
exactly. I never had the entitlement mentality. I'm grateful. I will work hard. I don't expect to be given anything. So I'm blessed. I'm blessed to be here. And
so Claudia, going back to your childhood, your mother was very hardworking, and obviously you're a go-getter. How was it growing up? Did that give you some sort of push, or did you say, hey, I'm gonna make a difference?
Oh, most definitely. I mean, I grew up kind of by a side of town that is not a nice side of town, of course, but so I remember even being really young and thinking, I want to do better for myself. I want to go to school. I want, one day own my own house, maybe in my own business. I mean, even at that time, I thought I
How old were you when those?
I was about 12, 13 years
Wow.
old. Yeah, and my mom was a huge example. I saw working was the way, and we couldn't call in sick. I mean, she couldn't call in sick. She couldn't not go to work because she had a headache. I mean, my mom, and even now, I'm so hard on my employees because you have a headache and you can't work.
Yeah.
So even me, when I was managing the coffee bean before I bought it, I think in 10 years that I managed, I probably called in sick twice. And I mean, I think my little boy was really sick, but I'm really hard on myself. I'm hard on my husband. I don't let him not to go to work just because he doesn't feel good. So it's kind of, but it's made me the person that I am for sure.
Absolutely.
And, yeah.
There's a definite personality trait that we've seen that's pretty common, and I think people that are entrepreneurial, hardworking, physically fit people, they challenge themselves, and they are often hard on themselves, and they don't allow sometimes maybe enough opportunity to kind of pat themselves on the back a little bit.
And that's true.
It's always
it's just never enough.
It's never enough, and so that's definitely something because you always want to create that fire, because that's what keeps you going. That's what keeps you making your life and your community better, and your family better. But at the same time, that's definitely something I struggle with as well. So.
Yeah, it's like always goals, and you attain that one, there's another one, and it's just.
Do you call in sick a lot?
No. No.
You called in sick on the other day.
I did? I don't remember. My wife would say I have a selective memory.
Okay, so I know that you kind of touched on the coffee bean. Let's go there. What are you currently doing right now with that? How did you get involved with owning that business?
Oh, well, I was 19 years old when I started working there. And like I said, I got married really young. My husband was in the military. So when he got out of the military, he wanted to go back home. Well, we went back home, which was New York. From Yuma to New York, drastic change. I didn't like it. So I kind of said, no, we got to go back to Yuma. So we ended up coming back to Yuma. He had a job lined up, and I did it. So I remember one of the first places I applied was the coffee bean. I got hired on the spot. And ever since I've been there, I started as a regular employee and got really, really close to the people that opened up the shop, the previous owners, and they were like mentors to me at the time, and they raised me. So I started managing for them, and I believe it was about 9 years, almost 10 into it, they offered to sell it to me. At the time, I was actually going to school, and I was really pursuing my career and my degree. And they came up to me and they said, we'll finance for you. We really want you to have it. If anybody deserves it, it's you. You have worked this place, you have managed it. So it was really scary at the time. It's been, I was 20, I'll be 37, so I think I was 26 years old. And I had 2 babies, and I thought, okay, I don't really know anything about owning a business. So I prayed about it. I mean, we thought about it, and then we thought, let's go for it. I mean, I think it's a lot of my personality. Just do it.
There's the goal.
Yeah. So I thought, okay, I'll do it. So I did. It certainly hasn't been. It hasn't been the easiest thing. Everybody thinks that owning your own business, that's it, the American dream. No, there's a lot of work that comes with it, and I do remember the owner at the time told me, you're gonna have to work probably 3 times harder than you ever worked before. This is not an easy thing, you know, but you have to be made up for this, and I think you have it. So it's definitely made me strong. I always consider myself a very strong individual, but this owning your own business is tough. Definitely, but it's just lessons that you learn that I would not acquire anywhere else. And it's been tough, especially being the little guy in town. You know, now you have the big chains coming in, and I mean, I took over in 2007, and
so there was no Starbucks,
no. At the time, they were barely coming in. In 2007, that's kind of when everything kind of just. So I had about 6 months of a really good season, and then just collapse. So
what was going through your mind at that time?
Well, what did I do? Honestly, at first, I was just. I didn't know what to do. I mean, I didn't have the experience. Things kind of went bad, how I purchased and with the other owners. So I thought, oh gosh, you know, I have nobody to back me. It was just me, just trying to make the business survive. And one thing that I had to learn is how to become an owner, how to become the business woman, because I think I managed that place as an employee. And there's a lot to do back in the office as an owner.
Back office.
Yes. So that's where where everything real happens. But you know, I love what I do, helping my customers, talking to them. But it's a lot of work and a lot. You know, I had to learn how to become the owner and be strong and make. I wasn't gonna give up. I thought I'm into this now.
You do have something that no other coffee shop has. That's the espresso shake.
Yes.
Jerry, you had one of these?
I've had many shakes. I don't think I've had the espresso shake.
You never had the espresso shake?
Jerry,
Oh, wow, we're
you cannot call yourself a human until you have an espresso
That's
shake.
true. That's true. It's like not having a date shake.
There you go.
Yeah.
Or a Mr. G's chili pepper.
There you go.
Yeah. It's funny because I think, you know, as a kid growing up, I kind of grew up kind of very humble beginnings, we'll say. And I remember the first time, it was my high school, Mr. Sheely, Joe Sheely. He took all of us, we were working for Mrs. Anderson at Fifth Avenue Paint in the summer. And he took us to Coffee Bean, and we got shakes.
Oh.
And I remember like, wow, like there's no way in heck I could ever ask my parents to take me there, you know? And I remember I got that shake, and it was like going to Disneyland.
Yeah.
You know? I was probably 13 years old.
Wow.
You know? I was like, oh, this is awesome.
Probably made your shake.
Oh, yeah. It wasn't the espresso. I wasn't drinking coffee back then.
But you gotta try it. We're very unique. We have a lot of stuff. I mean, the Coffee Bean, I think, has obviously been there for it's gonna be 22 years. It's been open since August 1994. So, and you know, this year will be 22 years? Am I doing my math right?
Well,
close to that. Yeah. I believe there's a reason for it. I mean, you've seen so many businesses just, you know, shut down.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, besides the fact that I won't give up on it. I mean, I have a lot of faith in it, and I do believe it's a good business. I wouldn't sell anything I don't like. I mean, and I really believe in my quality and just the business itself. I believe in it, and we have a lot of things to offer besides. You know, we're just not just a coffee shop.
Sure. Yeah. It's a great place, and like you said, it's like a Yuma staple.
It is, exactly,
so long,
exactly.
So when you said you had to make some changes to adjust, right? So was that uncomfortable for you?
Very.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very uncomfortable. I mean, a lot of headaches, a lot of tears, a lot of sleepless nights. I mean, financially, I was in a lot of trouble. I really was, and I was like drowning and just trying to get out. But I mean, of course, went by my verse, and I thought, you know, you gave me this business for a reason, and I'm gonna keep fighting for it until you say no more. So I just
grinded through it.
Yeah, I thought if I gotta work double, I'll work double. If I'll do whatever it takes.
But you made those changes, which a lot of entrepreneurs don't do. It's not just hard work. You have to have that vision. Hey, if I don't make those changes, even though they're uncomfortable, I mean, you could have still been working hard, but had you not made those changes, it wouldn't have helped. Yeah. Which brings something that a light bulb. If you haven't read Who Moved My Cheese, you read that one?
Yeah.
Who Moved My Cheese, great book, which talks a lot about that. Here at this show, we we want to cover all aspects, and it's not, we talk a lot about grind, working hard, mental, but you have to have that vision too.
Yeah,
If you see that, hey, this is happening, I have to change it, even though it's not comfortable, I really have to make the change. So yeah, that's
especially now. I mean, it used to be, 20 years ago, industries would change slowly over, 15 or 20 years. Now you have industries that change overnight.
Everything's so fast.
It's crazy. I mean, look at Uber. Now they're the largest cab company in the country, and that's happened in what, 5 years, less than 5 years or so. I mean, it's amazing. So,
Definitely.
yeah. So that's awesome. I mean, that you can get stuck in the I don't want to do this.
Yes.
This is uncomfortable.
And I was for a while. You can't see outside your box.
Yeah.
But I mean, I was blessed with a lot of people,
So
even
you had some
customers.
mentors.
Definitely, I had mentors. I mean, and the funny things that most of them were customers of mine, that saw me struggling, that saw what was going on, and they will come up to me and, offer their help. Business consultants, I mean, people that are just like, hey, you should do this. Hey, I mean, even to be honest with you, people stepped up with money. What do you need? How can we help you? And so there's definitely a purpose for that business, a purpose for me to have that business. So I won't give up on it.
And so now the business is, you're stronger now.
Yeah.
And you've learned, and you're 100 times better business person now.
Yes.
And now the business is stronger as well.
It's better.
Yeah.
It's definitely maintaining. Summers were seasonal in Yuma, as you guys know. So summers are always tough. But my last season, I think, is probably one of the best. Not so much financially, but I'm definitely managing better. With the changes that I made, which it was hard because I'm stubborn and I don't like to change, and I like my way. But I had to accustom to the new stuff, like you said 20 years ago. Well, we can't keep doing business like we did 20 years ago. Things got to change. So I started targeting the new teenagers, like my older customers. A lot of them passed, a lot of them moved. So I thought, okay, I got to do something. So, definitely we're better financially. I didn't struggle this last season, which was good. And I can't say it's been a horrible summer, so it's
good. So you spoke about how you almost failed, but you overcame that. We obviously know you're passionate about your business,
Definitely.
about the coffee bean. But what else are you passionate about? I know you have another passion.
I do.
Let's talk about that.
I am very passionate about bodybuilding. I actually, as a matter of fact, it's kind of tied down because when I took over the business, I had a good friend that was a personal trainer here in town, and I always like to stay active through high school, everything. But I remember telling myself, okay, now I'm gonna own a business. I know there's gonna be stress. I gotta find an outlet for myself. I gotta find a way for me to kind of, release my stress and just do something. Give myself an hour. So
and just the caffeine wasn't good enough.
No, I needed more than that. Yeah, that's another addiction.
Can't rest on espresso shakes alone.
Yeah. So I remember he was close to me, his facility. So I thought, hey, I would like to hire you, and you train me for an hour. And so I hired him, and fell in love with weightlifting, and ever since 2007, I've been active, working out, and it was just one thing. So then I transferred into a gym, and I started kind of just doing it as a hobby, and then I started running, and I started doing marathons and just races. And
cool.
So I thought that was another goal.
You ever done a Spartan event?
No, never.
Oh, you need to. You crush it. Yeah.
I told him I always wanted to do either that or like a Tough Mudder.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But that was another goal. I kind of put myself, okay, I want to run a marathon. And I remember my husband made fun of me. He said, "You're never gonna run one." I said, "Oh, you watch me. It might take me 3 years, but I will." So I started training for a half marathon, and probably 2 months into my training, I was running more than 18 miles. So I thought, okay, I still have like 2 more months. So everybody's like, you know what, just go for it. Do for the full. I thought, I am. So my first race was a full marathon, and I enjoyed it. It was fun, and then I did halves here and there, and then I thought, okay, I need something else. So I always weightlift, and I would do my running and my weightlifting. But of course, when you're running marathons, you have to focus more on the running. So then I thought I kind of want to build more muscle. So I went into more of a weightlifting program, and I started competing last year. My first show was in March last year. Fell in love with it. Just thought, I love this. Just being on stage, and I don't know, a lot of people will think of it as a very self-centered thing, but it's just goals. You know, it's just amazing to see your physique change and just how, and then like anything else, you get hooked. And then, okay, how much better can I do?
Yeah.
I did 3 shows last year, and I did very well, placed second place in all of them. But of course, it's not first yet.
So that's your
my goal. I started prepping for a show in October, and I'm taking first. And actually, my goal now, I want to go pro.
Oh wow.
Yes, my goal is to go to nationals next year and become a pro. So,
awesome. So is that how challenging is that versus training for a marathon?
It's harder.
It's harder.
Definitely, because this is something that you pretty much give everything up. I mean, your social life, it's hard. I don't eat out. All of my meals are cooked the night before. They're weighted, they seasoning. I can't even go to a restaurant and say, just give me 4 ounces of chicken breast with a cup of rice. I gotta be careful what they're putting in there, how they're cooking it, what they're cooking it with.
The oils.
Everything. So every day I leave my house with all of my 7 meals packed for the day. I don't go anywhere without them. Wow. I have to eat every 2-3 hours. There's meals that I eat before working out and after working out, and they gotta be those 2 meals. It's just.
And is there much variation in that diet?
Not at all.
So,
I've been on the same diet since December. All I eat is chicken breast, rice, veggies, and fish.
Wow.
So it's definitely, but you know what I love about the discipline?
Yeah.
It's. I think that's what gets me. And
have you always had that discipline? How about a listener right now says, "Oh, I can never do that. I don't have a discipline." Have you ever not had it, or is it something that you took one step at a time?
I took one step at a time, definitely.
So can an average person, an average female, male, that are out of shape, have you ever been out of shape and all of a sudden? Because it just doesn't happen where it looks like you look, right?
No way. It's taken me since 2007.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, definitely. I believe anybody could do it. It's something doable. I mean, it's just, you have to want it, you know, and I can't make even my spouse, you know, he's not into this, but he respects my lifestyle, I respect his, and hopefully one day he'll do it, or who knows.
Yeah, I know, absolutely. It's funny too, so we talked to, Joey Dressler at CrossFit Yuma. We interviewed him last week. And, or he posted it last week. But anyway, so he's my coach.
Oh,
and
okay.
I was doing a workout yesterday that was in addition to the daily workout. And I started it, and I was 2 sets into the 5 sets total, and I had 45 pounds and 2 10s on this bar, and I had it on my back, and I had to walk 250 meters, and I had to do some other stuff. And I go, Joey, man, I'm so tired and sore. Can I take the 10s off? He goes, Jerry. He's like, what do we talk about in the show? You got to break it into chunks. Break it in. You're thinking about the 5 sets you have to do.
Yeah.
Think about what you got to do right in front of you.
Yeah.
And so how that kind of relates to what Edward's talking about is people see you and they're like, there's no way.
Yeah.
But if you break it into chunks,
Exactly.
is hey, instead of going out to eat and eating popcorn and Wiener Schnitzel and stuff, maybe you cut that out a couple times a week.
Exactly.
And then you start working out and you start feeling better. And then you want it. Well, maybe I'm only eat that once a week.
Yeah.
And then you just keep growing
definitely.
and progressing.
You can't go cold turkey for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a process. I mean, I maintained myself healthy for almost 10 years, but I didn't take it seriously to where I was cooking my meals until a year ago.
And measuring and doing all that?
Yeah.
So I'm actually considering doing that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because you get to a point where you peak almost physically, and then it becomes diet.
Yes.
It's all diet.
And even, as I do what is called women's physique. That's what I compete in. And I mean, you pretty much go, like a lot of people ask me, how much can you bench press? How much? I don't know. It's not about that. It's about presenting your physique. I have to make your physique look pretty on stage. So, but I will say 80%. It's dieting. I mean, abs. At least 80%. If you want abs,
You gotta eat right.
I don't care how many crunches you do.
Yeah,
It's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Good stuff. So,
That's awesome.
before Jerry ends with our last question, I want to thank you for coming on the show.
You're very welcome.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having me.
Very, I know my wife, Ada, thinks the world of you,
I love her. Thank you.
respects you a lot. Business owner from 10 years now?
Yes.
Yeah.
So you had small children, going to school, still grinding, made it work as a
Yes.
business owner. So I want to thank you for being
Thank
part
you.
of this community, not giving up on your business, because Yuma needs the
Yeah.
espresso shake.
Yeah.
Thank you for not giving up on that. And we just want to acknowledge you. So Jerry's
Yeah.
going to
Thank you so
end
much.
with
Yeah,
Thank
absolutely. And to me too, it's funny. You growing up in a smaller community, you feel like you know somebody, and I've seen
Yeah,
you many
yeah,
times,
yeah.
and I mean, this is awesome that we get to do this. It's
Yeah.
truly a blessing to get to
Yeah.
meet people,
This
really
is-
meet
this is
people like
nice.
you,
Yeah.
and sit down and talk, and I look forward to seeing you around
you.
town again, and definitely going to get an espresso
Yes,
shake.
you have to now.
So there's people that are watching this video.
Mhm.
They're sitting, they've got a great idea.
Mhm.
They're thinking about starting a business, whether it's revolutionary technology or starting a landscaping company. But generally what happens is there's this fear that keeps
Yeah.
them from doing it. So if you had just one piece of advice for the person that's watching it now, what would that be to help encourage them and to take that step?
I could relate to fear because that's one of the things that growing up, everything, a lot of it, my actions were based on fear. I shouldn't do this because, but honestly, because of what I believe, I have a lot of faith, and first thing I would do, and I will advise anybody in life, is just put God first. It's just pray about it, see if the Lord really would like for you. I do believe sometimes I have thoughts in my head, I want to do this, I want to do that, and there's so many things, but then I calm myself down and I'm like, I'm going to pray about it, and if He opens the door, He opens the door, because you could become so overwhelmed, so stressed out, but if the door gets shut, it wasn't meant to be. But a lot of it is to don't give up. Don't give up. I could have given up on my business 10 years ago, and I refused to.
Yeah.
I refused to give up on it. I refused to give up in Yuma. I gave up on, you people from Yuma. One of the things I'm blessed is by the community. If it wasn't because of our community, my locals support me 100%, and I'm still there because of them. But, I will go for your dreams, and what's the worst that could happen?
Yeah,
you don't make it.
You stumble and you learn.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I had challenges. We had to go through a lot of changes, even my family. We had to downsize homes. There was things that we had to do, but it needed to be done. But it's just material. And now, honestly,
you wouldn't change.
No, and I think I laugh at it because I was like, it's just money.
Yeah.
It's.
I think we do get tied up in that, and it's, we've talked about this before. It's, we're here to become the best versions of ourselves possible, and that does not equal money per se. Yes, if you go out there and you create value in the economy, the money is going to come, but that's not what it's about. It's about being the full person that God intended you to be, or
the best you can be,
the best version of yourself, because then you make your family the best that it can be, and you can make your community the best it can be.
Being a positive role model for
Yeah,
your community.
absolutely.
So to me, that will be my first advice. Is
great
first.
advice.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome, great interview. Yeah,
Thank you,
awesome
guys.
interview. Congratulations
Thank you.
on the business, and
Thank you.
we want to see first place. Maybe when you
so.
have that trophy, you come back and share
Okay.
with us your experience.
absolutely, and we'll like it and we'll share it on the
Okay.
page so the community can see it.
Yeah.
Great.
And we love that. So.
Thank you
Thank
for
you, guys.
joining us. Show number 11. Looking forward to show number 12. Keep your comments coming, and we will see you next week.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.